రాజకీయ చదరంగం, నాయకులతో ముఖాముఖి, శ్రోతల ప్రశ్నలు, నాయకుల జవాబులు, వాగ్దానాలపై ప్రశ్నల వర్షం, అభివృద్ధిపై ఆరా తీయడం, ఉపాధి, విద్య, వైద్యం, గల్పు వలసలు, గరీబోళ్ల కష్టాలు, బడ్జెట్, ఖర్చులు, రాష్ట్ర అప్పులు, కుప్పలు. ప్రశ్న ఏదైనా, పార్టీ ఏదైనా, నాయకుడు ఎవరైనా, ఊరు వాడ అభివృద్ధిపై ప్రశ్నించాలని ఉందా? అయితే
వేదిక మాది, ప్రశ్నలు మీవి, నాయకులేం చెప్తారో విందామా? మరెందుకు ఆలస్యం?
రాజకీయ చదరంగం, మన తెలుగువారి ఆత్మీయ వారధి టోరీలో.
రాజకీయ చదరంగం ప్రతి మంగళవారం భారత కాలమాన ప్రకారం రాత్రి 9:30 నుంచి 11:30 వరకు, అమెరికా కాలమాన ప్రకారం మధ్యాహ్నం 12 నుంచి 2 వరకు, లండన్ కాలమాన ప్రకారం సాయంత్రం 5 నుంచి 7 వరకు మీ తెలుగువారి ఆత్మీయ వారధి టోరీలో.
వినండి, వినిపించండి, తెలుగు వారి ఆత్మీయ వారధి టోరీ రాజకీయ చదరంగానికి కార్యక్రమానికి స్వాగతం. నేను మీ ఆర్జే జయశ్రీ, వర్జీనియా నుంచి. మరి ఈరోజు తెలుగు, హిందీ, ఇంగ్లీష్ 3 లాంగ్వేజెస్ మాట్లాడతాం. మీరు తెలుగులో ప్రశ్న అడిగితే ఇదర్ మీ ఆర్ మహేంద్ర గారు విల్ ట్రాన్స్లేట్ ద క్వశ్చన్ టు దట్ అవర్ ఫ్రెండ్స్ అండ్ ఫ్యామిలీ. కాశ్మీరీ వాళ్ళు ఉన్నారు కదా, వాళ్ళకి ఆ ప్రశ్నని ట్రాన్స్లేట్ చేయడం జరుగుతుంది. దెన్ మీకు ఆన్సర్ ఉంటుంది. లేదంటే ఎందుకంటే తెలుగులోనే మాట్లాడితే కష్టం కాదు, తెలుగు, హిందీ, ఇంగ్లీష్ ఎనీథింగ్ ఇస్ ఫైన్. టుడే ఆల్సో ఐ స్పీక్ తెలుగు, హిందీ, ఇంగ్లీష్. ఈవెన్ మహేంద్ర గారు ఆల్సో స్పీక్స్ తెలుగు, హిందీ, English. Today is 3 languages we're going to speak because that language is the barrier. In India is a different languages under the one roof. ఒకటే జెండా, ఒకటే రాష్ట్రం, ఒకటే దేశం. కానీ మనం విభిన్న ప్రాంతాలు ఉంటాయి, విభిన్న భాషలు. భాష వేరైనా సంస్కృతి, ద లాంగ్వేజ్ ఈస్ డిఫరెంట్, ద సంస్కృతి ఈస్ డిఫరెంట్, బట్ వీఆర్ ఆల్ ద ఇండియన్స్. బట్ ఇండియన్స్ ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళినా మనం భారతీయులు. అది అమెరికాలో ఉన్నా, ఇండియాలో ఉన్నా, ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళినా భారతీయులు. చిన్నప్పటి నుంచి I have a dream to visit Kashmir, but whenever I asked, my father said no, we can't go. Because before marriage, my father, because of his job, he visited the Kashmir, and he always tell that it's a beautiful. But my dream never fulfilled. But after I came here in America, also still I have to see the Vaishnavi Mata. But I never have a time to go. Always that the place is difficult to go. Always some other thing is, it's not a safety place. People think like that. బట్ ఇట్స్ అ బ్యూటిఫుల్ ప్లేస్. కాశ్మీర్ అనగా మనకు గుర్తుకొచ్చేది యాపిల్ పళ్ళు, కాశ్మీర్ అనగా వచ్చేది సాఫ్రాన్, కుంకుమ పువ్వు, కాశ్మీర్ అనగా గుర్తుకొచ్చేది అందమైన ప్రాంతం. కాశ్మీర్ ఈస్ ద మకుటం ఆఫ్ భారతదేశం. అది ఒక నుదుట సింధూరం లాగా భారతదేశానికి తల మీద ఉంటుందన్నమాట. ఇది ఒక మకుటం. కాశ్మీర్ ఈజ్ ద భూతల స్వర్గాన్ని అంట. ఇంత అద్భుతమైన అందమైన కాశ్మీర్ వచ్చేసి సెలయేర్లు, సరస్సులు. ఇట్స్ ఎ వెరీ బ్యూటిఫుల్ ప్లేస్. ఇంత బ్యూటిఫుల్ ప్లేస్ ని ఈరోజు వచ్చేసి మొత్తం అసలు మనం వెళ్ళటానికి లేకుండా ఉంది. ఇంత అద్భుతమైన ఈ కాశ్మీర్ గురించి, ఈ కాశ్మీర్ లో ఉన్న నాట్ ఓన్లీ బ్యూటీనెస్, సో మచ్ troubles they're facing. They have to leave the places, and they have a beautiful memories, their childhood, but they're keeping the childhood's memories. Now it is very difficult to go over that place. We have to know more about the Kashmiri people's lifestyle and tradition and culture. Not only that, is mainly their troubles. We can talk about today's my best friends and Swapna ji and Joshna ji mere saath mein hai. And Swapna and Joshna ji, welcome to the TORI.
Hello. Jayashree.
Okay. Hi. Unfortunately, this is a Telugu, my mother tongue. I'll talk Telugu also, Swapna. But whenever I talk to you, Swapna and Joshna, I'll talk English or Hindi. Even Mahendra garu also will speak Hindi and English. But I'll translate Telugu also today. Okay. Then.
Sure.
Okay, great. And who is going to be start first, Joshna or Swapna?
Swapna will go ahead.
Okay. Then we'll go. You also, మీ అందరికీ తెలవాలి ఎక్కడ నేను స్వప్నను కలిశాను. ఫార్చునేట్లీ అండ్ 15th August నేను ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళానంటే ఇండియన్ ఎంబసీ, వర్జీనియాలోని ఇండియన్ ఎంబసీకి వెళ్ళానని మీకు చెప్పాను కదా ఆ రోజు ఈవినింగ్ షోలో. నేను ఆ రోజు ఏం చేశాను అని అంటే, వీ హ్యావ్ ఎ బసెస్ ఆల్ ద వే టు వర్జీనియా టు ద ఎంబసీ. వీ వెంట్ ద బసెస్ I met lots of Kashmiri people. One is a beautiful lady, and Swapna. Before I have to say, Swapna, happy birthday to you, and entire we have to say happy birthday to Swapna also. Just she finished her birthday also. She's so beautiful, not only beautiful inside, outside also. I met her in the embassy, and I asked a couple of questions, and I said, I'll do the special show about the Kashmir. I want to know more about you, because that I didn't fulfill my life to visit the Vaishnavi Devi, because that's why I put my daughter name is the Vaishnavi. Then now Swapna is there. She can tell about their lifestyle and tradition and facing troubles, everything. Swapna, hi.
Sure.
Thank you so
Hi,
much, Swapna,
hi.
joining today's.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
you can start,
Thank you.
Swapna. I will listen. Today is I'm my listener also. You guys has to speak. We are all the listeners today.
Excellent. And just let me know when you want me to stop so that I can translate. So
No problem.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, because we certainly want our voice to be heard, our story to be told, and we really, I think Jyotsna, myself, and I believe we have a few other community members that have been able to dial in. Nisha Kasba, I know, is on, so thank you, Nisha and Jyotsna, for joining, and anybody else who has. Thank you, Jayashree, Mahesh, and everybody else for giving us an opportunity, for giving us a platform to talk about it. Kashmir, indeed, a beautiful place, but unfortunately a place that I have not been able to go back to since 1989, when we were literally thrown out of our homelands. For good reasons, it's called paradise on earth. There's a saying, if there's a paradise, if there's a heaven on earth, it's on Kashmir. It's right there. It's right there. It's right there. And very true till we were there. And now we are not able to go back. Now, I'm sure a lot of you must have heard about what's going on in Kashmir, but not many know about the true story of Kashmiri Pandits. We are Kashmiri Hindu Pandits that were thrown out of our homes, literally asked to vacate overnight, leaving our belongings, our family, friends behind, or just scattered everywhere, just trying to find a place for shelter and save our lives. And Jayashree, thanks to the government of India, you said that your dream of going back to Kashmir has stayed a dream, but hopefully by abolition of Article 370 by Modi government of India, hopefully that dream will come true soon. And we are also hoping, myself along with all my Kashmiri friends, family, hope to go back, take our kids back, and show them our roots, where we belong. Kashmir is a very beautiful place. People in Kashmir, we used to live in good communal harmony till terrorism creeped in, and it just became a religious war there. The jihadis, the terrorists, and they made us. It's a very, very emotional topic that we talk about, because a lot of us, I should not say a lot of us, I think I will be doing injustice by saying a lot of us. I want to say almost all of us were personally affected. I myself, my own grandfather was shot in broad daylight. They did not allow medical assistance to reach him, and we unfortunately lost him to cruel hands of death. But I think the agony is that this keeps on. This is going on, and we just need to show to the world that we exist, and we are not refugees, we are not migrants in our own country, and we are started seeing a silver lining to the cloud, a ray of hope with abolition of Article 370. Not many people know what exactly it is. I by no means am an expert here, but very, very high level. It's just that anybody outside Kashmir cannot go and settle there, whereas Kashmiri now, when we talk about Kashmiris who are settled in Kashmir as majority Muslims, they can honestly go anywhere in the world, anywhere in the country, buy land, have a property settled there, but nobody can go back to Kashmir. Me being a daughter of Kashmir, another thing that is very hurtful is that, if I have the guts to marry outside Kashmir, I lose all my rights over, the ancestral property, any rights that I would have in Kashmir. Again, it's I call it utter nonsense. Excuse my language there, but it is utter nonsense. They were asking, Kashmiri Muslims were asking for like Kashmir. They were asking for, they want Kashmir without the men, the Pandit men, but with the Kashmiri women. That is what they kind of did. The levels they did stoop down to. Joe, did you want to add anything else? I could go on and on, but I just want to give everybody else a chance here.
You've spoken very well about our pain, and we all, both sides basically do carry the pain, and at this point in time, I'm sure we have our own grouses, and but the fact remains that we have been away from our home, our motherland, for the last 30 years.
30 years, yeah.
And we have still been able to manage somehow, thanks to our older generation, our parents, who managed to, toil and do whatever to get us going, the next generation going. We hid our pain from our own kids, like, our kids didn't know half the story, and my own kids tell me now, Mom, why didn't you tell us so much about all this? And I landed up telling them I did not want to carry the pain. But now they're old enough. As they got older, we told them about this story. So the pain can go on and on. At this point, I'm sure Sapna and everybody else will tell us that let's put it all behind us. Let's start again. Let's send out an olive branch of peace and start and reconstruct. And let's start thinking about those things. Let healing start. And I again have to say that hats off to our parents, our generation, who stood by, sat down, and day and night started from scratch. And it's not easy to start as you get older. I mean, we are at that position now ourselves, and I cannot comprehend how I would have started at this point. When we started, like, we are three sisters, and we had to, I was studying in Delhi at that time, did not know when my next fees would come from, because my parents did not have a job to go to. So, there's a harrowing experiences. So, it's been a tough time, and we do carry that still with us. I mean, we all do to some extent. And now there's a ray of hope, and we do want the whole world, and especially our own countrymen, to understand that to give us their support, give us their attention and cooperation to help to heal this. And to a certain extent, I'm sure Sapna will second me on this, our culture, our way of life has been lost, because our roots have been lost. Our kids don't know what we are talking about. Mm-hmm. And so this is a good time for us to relook, right, Sapna? I mean, you can talk about it, how our... yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. And I think Joe kind of is hitting the nail on the head, where we want to, unfortunately, we are trying to tie the loose ends. We don't want to lose our culture and traditions. We want our kids to know our background, our roots, where we come from. At the same time, I think one of my aims or goals, or I shouldn't say ask, but what I'm hoping from by being on this call today is, unfortunately, I have been asked questions in my own country, in India. I go back pretty often. I'm very closely connected and emotionally, connected to India. I make sure that my kids go back, who are not kids anymore. They are adults now. But when I hear people in India, outside Kashmir, say that, oh, Kashmiri Hindus used to live there, oh, Kashmiri Pandits, that is somebody, you guys exist. I by being on this call, I want to fight for acknowledgement that the whole country knows that, yes, Kashmiri Pandits, a very well-educated class, very dignified, with solid cultural background, did exist. We were the original people in Kashmir. The Kashmiri Pandits are when you start talking about different levels of Brahmins, we are on the top tier. They are really looked upon by Kashmiri Hindus, but on the same note when we are asked by people, oh, Kashmiri Pandits, who are they? That hurts more than anything else. So by being on this call today, I want to say that yes, we do exist. We are an integral part of the country. We feel, we breathe the same air. Yes, we exist. So please acknowledge, and we want support from our countrymen. And again, seeing the ray of light, some hope here by article scrapping of 370-35. I know there's a lot of politics there, a lot of policies and procedures, but Prime Minister Modi, Amit Shah, Indian government has dared to do something, touch the Article 370, which was only something that was a topic for discussion in the past, and being able to remove that. So, we feel, and a lot of this news and all this propaganda about, oh my God, people in Kashmir right now, they are being harassed, they're under lockdown. What happened to the same media, the same people, when Kashmiri Pandits were overnight either killed? Literally, we had our own people, terrorists kill them in rice drums and had their wives cook the same rice that was drenched in her husband's blood. Where was the media then? They are under lockdown right now, more for their safety. Where is the hue and cry, or where was the words of praise for the Indian Army when the same Indian Army was helping people in Kashmir when they faced the floods, and the same Indian Army helped them come out of and save their lives? And now when the same Indian Army is there to protect them, just in case, because keep in mind, there's always a handful of miscreants who make or use or abuse the power or their status. They can create a lot of, unruly atmosphere and create all, not, hopefully you know what I'm trying to say, and the army is there to protect them. I just hope by this people know about our existence and are able to project to the world, to the people of India and everywhere, both sides of the coin. Please do not tamper what the facts are. Do not forget that Kashmiri Pandits are an integral part of Kashmir.
Right. Swapna and Joe, this is Mahendra actually. Yeah, thanks for giving the explanation. And as being Indians, and we all know what happened we all know the history and what happened to the Kashmiri Pandits over the back. But now the issue, as a platform of the political debate platform, we want to analyze the issue, both the sides, and how it will be affecting and what will be the ground level reality of the Kashmir right now after the revocation of the 370 and the 35A. So you people still have the connections to back home. You are able to get a chance to speak with any of your family members or the relatives after how the situation right now in the ground reality after this revocation?
We don't have any family left there. We feared for our lives. Most of our people, most of our family members and friends from our community have settled outside Kashmir. Well, there are some of them in Jammu, but nobody that I personally know of, a Kashmiri Pandit, is back there in Kashmir.
Well, not in Kashmir, but then people who are living in Jammu, we do talk to them every day, in fact, and they are all happy about it. And Jammu is a part of Kashmir, it's Jammu and Kashmir.
Correct.
So we talk to them, and they are happy with whatever is going on. Plus, they think that what Prime Minister Modi has done, like, the curfew or cutting the internet and all that thing, that's a good thing. Good thing in the way that we are able to talk to our family. We know our family is safe and everything. But with this internet down and all, it's in a good way, because then, bad things won't happen. People cannot retaliate, or then the situation will be more bad. It will get worse. So in a way, it's a good thing that we are not able to contact. But we know that they are safe and they are fine.
Other section of the people are complaining that imposing the section 144 and avoiding the communication between their own family and what happened to their family. It's the other way. So the overall decision, we are all welcoming the decision. but the process, the way it will be done, will you welcome the way it is done, and also in the other section of the people in the, especially from the
So this is Swapna. Let me say something first. I'm sure my Joe, Shifali, or other people here will have their own thoughts and opinions. I am particularly in no way or mean politically qualified to talk about it. So anything that I say is my opinion. That's how I feel. What I'm talking from a layman's point of view. I'm not a politician. I'm not.
No. As like a common woman. It's as
exactly.
Like a Kashmiri, you are talking about how you trouble and how much you struggle, and you saw
exactly.
आंखों से देखा ना अपने बचपन से क्या चल रहा है क्या चला देख के
exactly.
After that married and you lose everything that because of the other article you lose your the
exactly.
and all that.
Even I'm asking these questions to other side of the people will know, let them know. So if I ask the question,
it's not
actual voice from the Kashmiri people listen to instead of going to the yellow media or so-called media, what they are projecting. So that's the reason I'm asking the question. These kind of questions in everybody's mind who are apart from the India and the
other side of India. Other side of India.
So if I pose these questions, that real voice of you and how you feel about this one, what is your concerns, how it will affecting your life will be reached to the other side of the section also.
Also share your
whole idea of the debate.
Correct. Not only that, you can share your pain, Swapnaji and Joshnaji, because that I spoke to you that day. You told me about your childhood memories and your uncle's story, and after came home and literally I felt like that, cried, and I don't know, that age you saw, right, everything, and your uncle is taking that one, again the friend is then after I came home, and in the childhood is always, it comes in until your end of the time, the memories gonna stay like that. It's always all the child things like a sweet memories, but all the Kashmiri people child memories is a bittery memories, and I want please speak about that also.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back to Maheji's first question, like how do we feel how this was done? I personally feel that it was articulated very well. Other than the media saying how things are so bad in Kashmir and stuff, have we heard of any riots, any killing, violence, any damage to the public property, to government property, any violence? No. So personally, I feel it was done very well. It was articulated very well. Going back to childhood memories, I have good memories from my.
Sapna, sorry to intervene.
Sure.
Sapna, just before you start, I just want to add a little. I just wanted to bring some perspective here. That when you we understand, we've been there. That in Kashmir, you are more connected in terms of the area you see. If you look at it geographically, we are right next to Pakistan in terms of some areas are like some miles away, especially in Jammu and Akhnur. But in Kashmir itself, if we would put at that time our antenna a certain way, we could catch Pakistan TV faster than we could get Delhi Doordarshan. So
the proximity to what we have right now to Pakistan right now there,
I'm telling you from my own experience as we were kids, is way more than to India. Now, obviously, with internet coming in and all the wireless stuff coming in, obviously it's much better. But what I'm trying to say is that with the internet, why it is so important was in security-wise. The camps and other areas are so close that one text message and they could rally people from across the border, send whatever information here and there. So when you look at logistically why cutting off the internet is important, it was not to bring hardship to common people, but it was to cut off such elements away from common people. So obviously, yes, for common man, it is not easy. I'm sure they must be going through tough times right now. Basic supplies are there, but yes, you still need internet for so many different things. I totally understand that. We're all, in the end, we're human. But we have to understand for the larger good and the safety and security of them, it's people there itself. It is a temporary arrangement. Hopefully, it is going to be easing off, but hopefully it will get better. Yes, Sapna, carry on.
Yeah. No, thank you, Jyotsna. And Jayashriji and Maheji, we also have one of our younger generation.
I know. So many people is in the line. Swapna.
I want to introduce one particular one who's we're very super proud of. Nisha Kasba is here, and she's personally experienced a lot of stuff here in U.S. as well. And I would want to give Nisha some time to talk about how she feels about it and what her thoughts are. Nisha, are you on the line? Nisha?
Hi, Nisha ji. Welcome to the TORI.
Hi.
Hi.
Namaste, everyone.
Namaste ji, namaste, and fortunately you are in my show, and very happy to introduce you, Nisha ji. And not only Nisha ji, I think lots of people is there, and please speak. And yeah, Nisha ji, aap shuru karo, please.
Sure. So, to talk about, I think the Western media has really portrayed Kashmir to be a dungeon, to be, in this curfew and cut off communication. And I think what the missing piece is when my parents and even Jyotsna and Sibidhi lived in Kashmir, curfews were very prevalent. They existed. This is nothing new to the people of the valley. Cutting off communication, I think on average, since the 90s, it's cut off about 50 times in a year. So these tools that have been used by the Indian government have been done many, many times before. And to piggy off what Jyotsna said, it's because it's supposed to tame the unrest. Because the way people congregate and create propaganda is through WhatsApp, through the internet, and are able to reach the youth in the valley and brainwash them. And so this is one of the ways that the Indian government was able to tame the unrest. Coming to whether Kashmir is actually under a curfew and to the plight of the actual people, I think if you really look at an array of journalists that are coming out of Kashmir, you'll see that the reporting is vastly different. If you read someone who's more balanced, like Rahul Pandita, that I've been readily following, he acknowledges that there's a blackout, but also acknowledges that in the gulliya, in the alleys, not in the main streets, there's still shops being operated, there's still hospitals being open. It's not, yes, there is restrictions, but it's not like nobody can walk out ever. So I would like to clear that as well. I think the intensity that we talk about, the curfew, the restrictions, needs to be tamed. I think the people who are reporting out need to be heard out. And there's also a lot of sensationalization of what's happening in Kashmir. So I would like to add that as well. I think going to our history as Kashmiri Pundits, I think our history has been completely diluted by the other side. I myself have went to an event in D.C. That was sponsored by Justice for Muslim Collectives and Stand for Kashmir, and our history was not even a slide on the slide deck. So our stories are very real, our plight is very real, but it gets very much so dismissed to this is the Indian government peddling its own agenda. And, for a country and for issues that have been going for 70 years, I think that's really simplifying and thinking of Kashmir in a vacuum since August 5th. And so that's been my struggle I've had in the past couple of weeks, having multiple conversations with people, Muslims, Hindus, Indians, non-Indians, about Kashmir, and hearing what their perspective is very, very tainted, and I perceive not authentic to our story.
And please, can you speak about your childhood memories, or is it happy moments or bitter moments? Both you can share that, because I want to know more about it.
So,
please.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in the United States. My memories of Kashmir are totally orated from my maternal and paternal grandparents. Because they were kicked out and had no home to return to, this is the plight of many of their generation. They lived with their kids, and so my maternal and paternal grandparents lived with us. And so my view and my experience and my vision of Kashmir is through their eyes.
Did they share with you anytime? Did they share it with your grandparents? This is the thing happened when we childhood time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think every Kashmiri Pandit kid, no matter what they're taught, I think the one thing they are taught is about that plight. I was born after 1990, so they came off the heels of the atrocities. So when they came to the U.S. to live with their kids, they didn't have anything. They had lost their home. They had to stop working. My grandfather was a professor, and he had to stop. And that's a story that can be repeated in many, 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 many Kashmiri Pandits' homes. That's a resounding story.
Okay. Yeah.
So Jayashree ji, this is Swapna. Can I interrupt real quick? Nish, thank you so much.
No. Go ahead. And other people is also there. Swapna, introduce that people also, please.
The only thing I want to say that I understand from Jayashree ji, there are other community members that have dialed in. So thank you so much for dialing in. This is this is one of our opportunities to speak out loud. So if you would like to say something, please announce yourself and say, what you feel about what's happening now, what you went through, and that'll be greatly appreciated. Again, this is not me, Jyotsna or Nisha or Shifali speaking. It's like everybody. We all feel the same thing. So if you would just announce yourself and maybe identify the location where you're dialing in from. All the names that I have mentioned so far are from U.S., so please go ahead.
Just before taking any calls, let's specific to our callers, so you can post only your questions. They stick with the question instead of rather debating or making the diversion of the other way. So you stick with your
Ramna gar మీ క్వశ్చన్ చెప్పేస్తే Ramna gar మీ క్వశ్చన్ చెప్తారా చెప్పేస్తే మనం మళ్ళీ దానికి ఆన్సర్ అడుగుతాం.
I'm Ramana Durgam from Baton Rouge, Louisiana calling. I have been doing some research, especially last 1 month, 2 months after this Article 370 issue came up. Before that also I was doing research. Do you think the whole Kashmir issue it would have been much lesser if that last Hari Singh Maharaja has taken a decision immediately to join Indian Union? I think he delayed 3 months or 2 months. That's where this problem came. I mean, this bad for Indian point of view.
మీ ప్రశ్న ఎవరికి ఇస్తున్నారు?
ఎవరికైనా nobody.
అదే ఇప్పుడు మనకు ఇప్పుడు anybody can and Sapna ji and Jyotsna ji and other people is also is there, and that Ramana Durgam is asked one question. Anybody can answer that, please.
Sure, I'll start because I have researched this quite a lot myself. Because this is an argument that has been brought to my attention multiple times. Regardless of whether the accession was signed in October of 1947 or in August 1947, I personally, regardless of being a Kashmiri, I believe it doesn't matter. The reason being because the same document that Maharaj Hari Singh signed is the same document that every other Raja, all the 500 other princely state Rajas signed. By every sentence, every word, every character, every punctuation point is the exact same. So whether it was signed in October or August, it was still signed at the end of the day. And so I don't think that if he had done it in August, it would have made any difference. Just 60 days before, 60 days after, I don't think it made a difference. I think he was going to keep it independent from my understanding, from my read, because he was not acceding to Pakistan or India, but it was because of the Pakistani tribesmen that came and invaded the land. By nature, as a Raja, he had to protect his citizens, and so that's the steps he took. And that happened in October. So I'm not in that school of thought that if it happened in August, it would have been any different. I think there was always that issue that Maharaj Hari Singh was overseeing a predominantly Muslim kingdom, and so that's always what's brought up. But at the end of the day, they were invaded, and that's the nature of the beast of kingdomness.
Okay, Ramana garu, inka meeku edana question undani? Do you have any other question, Ramana garu?
Yeah, obviously this Article 370 will definitely develop. I mean, Israelis also had this Jews were even greater trouble, Holocaust for 2 millennia, but they came back up, and they were dispersed. Kashmiri Pandits now after 370, at least after 370 is gone and 335A is gone, they have a very good chance of developing. Actually, even Ladakhis, which are not even Kashmiri, they speak different language, they have much better chance to develop now. Do you agree or not? I mean, they can come to Jammu now. I mean, they have more freedom now, Kashmiri Pandits, and Ladakhis too. Do you agree with that? After 370 is gone?
I think private investments into Kashmir and Ladakh and Jammu are for the betterment of the economy of Jammu and Kashmir. I think Jammu and Kashmir has one of the highest unemployment rates in all of India. And I think unemployment, and we can see this throughout the world, is a fueling ground for radicalism and extremism. So I think bringing opportunity to the land is a way of mitigating that. That's my. I do believe it will bring prosperity to the land, but that's my take personally. It's yet to be seen. We're not sure will that happen, but I think in theory it should.
And just to add to that, I agree with Nisha, and I think also with the status of Ladakh, them getting the recognition, we definitely see that there will be prosperity and there will be, we will see positive effects of this as well. But again, we have to wait and see how it goes. But that is again our understanding.
I just want to announce I'm Ruchi here. I'm waiting, just to make sure I'm on the call.
Hi, Ruchi. How are you? Okay. Please, Ruchi, speak that.
Yeah, this is Ruchi Dhar. I'm from originally from Kashmir. And now our identity has changed for last 30 years. Yeah, but I have gone through it. I just wanted to announce so that I'm here. And whenever you have time...
Yes, please, Ruchi. Yeah. No, you can speak about it. Yeah, it's everything. All the Kashmiri people talk about what you want. You can tell your opinion and your childhood, your memories and sweet, or anything related to your life.
Sure. Basically, I'm not a politician. I don't know about politics much.
It's not a politician. Yeah. No, it's not at all politician. It's like about that your life, Kashmiri people's life. I'm talking about. Yes.
Exactly. I'll tell you, as a common citizen, as a patriot, as a Hindu, what I have and what we have suffered in Kashmir. And basically, it is not something that happened all of a sudden in 89, 90. It didn't just pop up. It had been there happening last hundreds of centuries, last few centuries. So basically, Kashmir is originally from Maharishi Kashyap ji, who drained the water out of the Himalayas and created this beautiful valley. And it was originated by Maharishi Kashyap ji. So then in 1400th century onwards, Kashmir has been invaded by Islamic invaders, and it's not something it happened suddenly in 90. And what I've heard, it's the 7th time exodus of Kashmiri Pandits. It's not something, it happened one time and it will go away. And I think it happened now forever, like this time in 1990 when I left Kashmir. So I want to tell you a little bit, about the generations which are still alive, like my father. My father has seen it when he was a child in 1947. He is from a place called as Kupwara, which is a village area of Kashmir. When the raiders came that time to invade Kashmir, and my father's family, almost 10 people were kept in a line and killed. And their fault was only because they were Hindus, no other fault. Their fault was they were Hindus and they were killed. And then my grandfather was a very rich landlord that time. And Muslim neighbors, that's what my father said. He has heard. He was also a child that time. He was very old, my grandfather that time. Maybe I'm just guessing 80 or 90, whatever. But Muslim neighbors told these invaders that you have to kill this person also, otherwise, he will not let them live peacefully. And then they came back and killed my grandfather also. Not great-grandfather, I mean. After that, in 1947, my grandmother had been refugee for a couple of years. She had left that house, everything with her children, and led a life of a beggar for a couple of years. Then I heard that Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah's wife, encourage them. Even I heard some part of that village had converted to Islam that time to save their lives. And then they were reconverted back. I'm talking about 47, which I don't have a personal experience, but I've heard about it. So this is not something which happened suddenly. And then I remember my part in 80s when I was like a child there. So a few things I remember, like how unsafe we used to feel there. Because we are face of India, we are face of Hinduism. These are two of our mistakes, that's the reason we are not welcome to live in that place. Where the local Muslims wanted to create a jihad or they wanted to have a Sharia law. So anytime there was Independence Day, our houses used to get stoned. So even sometimes, they used to harass us on Independence Day. I remember we are not feeling safe to keep the Indian flag from our windows or show that, publicly we love India. Or even same in Republic Day. Or in Diwali also, crackers, we cannot do it publicly because we cannot show that Hindus exist here. So, and even like, I remember my mom is a professor, and dad, both of them are in government jobs, where that time, being a Hindus, they were always put in far away places purposely, remote areas. And my mother purposely used to put plastic bindi, I remember in my childhood, so that she can remove this bindi anywhere when she is in a Muslim area. So that was the condition in 80. It did not happen suddenly. And even my mother was avoiding to wear sari. She was wearing only salwar suit because she can anytime change her appearance while moving anywhere. So these are the examples I am telling you, which I remember what I have seen when I was growing child, because my mother told me I cannot put a real kumkum because it's tough to remove when I have to move through a Muslim area. So that is the thing, But then obviously we are not welcome there, and it did not happen overnight. It happened with series of killings. Anybody which was, I also have a faint idea of like how it happened, but I can tell you what happened then when I had to leave as a refugee. But I remember there were certain Hindus who were part of RSS. They were killed in a broad daylight on the road, and then, they were announced, and even girls were abducted, they were raped, their body parts were displayed to us. Slogans used to come from the mosques that you have to leave this place, we have to create something, we have to create a Muslim area, and we welcome only Hindu women to be with us, and Hindu men should be killed. You understand what does that mean. But there is a Kashmiri slogan, they wanted only Hindu women to be part of that jihad and Hindu men to be killed. And in such case, I was a child, and my mother was also not too old. She was in 40s that time. And in such cases, when such slogans used to come, and mosques after Friday prayers, they should always do that. And then in my neighborhood only, there was one family, like Hindu family, with their children, boy and girl, and obviously man and woman. And then they they entered their home. It was just few blocks from our house. They raped the woman. Their daughter was just 10-year-old, not too big. They raped them. They killed them. They even killed their father. Fortunately, their son was outside that home that time, and he is the only survivor of that family. And they used to come same way mob, and that is the time I remember when my mother used to. I am from Srinagar. I'm born in Srinagar, downtown, and my house was exactly on the roadside. And this mob used to come, and then they used to, shout these slogans, and where they used to say that we have to kill you, you have to. They give us 3 choices.
Yeah,
like you have to
Richi, this is Mahendra. Sorry for interrupting. So we have the other callers to raise the question. So we'll take the callers and then we can continue our discussion. Okay? Let's take the other callers who are joining from the different states from the US and India as well. So let's take the call from the one and then we can discuss further. Okay? Thank you.
Sure. Whatever is coming with the program. Yeah. Thank you.
Ruchiji, please stay in the line, and other people if anybody wants, I see there's so many, 10 people is in the line, please speak about, and if you have any questions, you can ask, and they will answer you. Please speak, because that I don't know names, and lots of people in the line, it's showing that 10 people is in the line. Please speak about anything.
Yeah, Namaste, this is Krishna.
My name is Meenakshi Kak, and I'm from Washington, D.C. area.
Okay. Hi, Meenakshi, please. Welcome to the TORI. And
thank you so much for this platform. And I know many of my friends are already dialed into this call, so I'm not going to take much of the time, but definitely want to speak on behalf of. First, for my
Meenakshi, today's the topic is entirely your show. When the Swapna taking बात करने टाइम में मैंने बोल दिया, आप बोलना है, हम लोग सुनना है. Today's entire show is yours. Please.
Thank you for that opportunity. And to start with, I was not born in Kashmir, but I was born in Jammu, And what I have seen on that fateful night, I would like to share that piece and how that day changed my perspective for love all to love your people more. And I guess that was the day when something in me changed. And I will tell you the story. My maternals, they used to live in Srinagar, and as a kid, used to visit every summer break. We used to spend with them. And by saying that, my maternal home, they had 52 rooms, big house. So 52 is not a small number.
It's a huge room. Yeah, huge house. Yeah.
So they used to live, and they had a joint family there. And on this fateful day at Jammu, I remember we being at Jammu worried about them. And so my grandfather was a great guy, and he said, we didn't know who is going to come, but we were kind of prepared to whoever comes from Srinagar, because we didn't have many people at Jammu that time. I guess for us, we were the only family for everyone we had in Srinagar. So I remember that day, and I'm going to share the exact story, what happened, and how it has touched that core of my heart, that I'm not going to forgive the people who speak against my community. And I'm a true Indian at heart and my soul. I can do anything for my country. So the doorbell rings, and my mom says, go get the door. And I run to the door. What I see is, I don't wish anybody to, I won't wish that for anybody, not even for my enemy. So the doorbell rings, and I see one of my Bobby. She was 9 months pregnant, and she looked like a mini elephant. And she screamed from the door. When she just saw my shadow, she screamed, she called my mom, save my child. And she collapsed right in front of our door, because she ran away from Srinagar in a truck with all my other cousins, because it was a girl group and Bobby group they sent from Srinagar in a truck. My Bobby was 9 months pregnant. She collapsed right in front of my door, and I was, I guess, in 7th grade that time. And I can explain how I felt that moment when she collapsed with 9 months. She was hospitalized. She was fine after that, but that memory of, just imagine a mother traveling and not knowing what will happen to her on the way to Jammu, and she had nothing with her. They came empty hands that minute. Just imagine, when we go from our home to any vacation, we think about, oh, hey, did we close this? Do I have this? Do I have that? Just imagine leaving 52 rooms big of home and coming out empty-handed. Just that feeling just sent, I don't know, I'm going to get too emotional, but just wanted to explain, just imagine what we have been through. And
we are all with you, and we are one nation, and we are Hindus, very proud of you. Plus, emotionally, and we are with you, I am with you, and even Swapna, everybody is here, Joshna. Please, please, be strong and, speak.
Yep. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I will give other people opportunity to speak. There was one piece
Meenakshi, can you ask one question? You opened the door, but can you little more about that? Who came and...
Absolutely, yeah. So the first batch of people that came from a maternal home were all girls and Bobbies, because that's all they could fit in that truck. And there was 2 men with them, and one of my mamajis and one of my cousin. And they were the first batch that arrived at our Jammu home. And for 1 month, our home was, I don't know what it was, but everyone who fled from Srinagar, that was the only place they showed up. And gradually, some went to tents, and some, we started finding some homes rented. They had nothing. And my father, he volunteered for the first, because we were basic Jammu people, because that was their only hope. So my father tirelessly worked for couple of months, and he started from his own home. I remember in our store, whatever we had, in stock, rice, anything. And he went door to door in our neighborhood and asked for any clothes that we are now wearing, the saris, whatever we had. I remember that he collecting each one of those items and took them to, there's a place in Jammu which is called Parade Ground, and that became the first spot for all the Kashmiris who came to Jammu, and that's where he started like doing a tiny bit. That was tiny bit. Like, we Kashmiri are highly educated class. Just imagine leaving everything, and you have nothing, even one extra pair of clothes to wear. Just imagine the feeling, and I don't know what else to say, but it is painful, and so painful to even go back and think about it. And I have seen this by my eyes. Not one of the words what I just said has been manipulated. This is eyewitness saying it.
I just want to add here, just for her clothes part, because it brings this is Ruchi again, Ruchi.
Yeah, Ruchi, boliye. Yeah.
One of the painful memories, when in 90s, same way, I also came in one dress only, whatever we wore. And after a few weeks, my dress started getting torn away. I don't have anything to wear. I have a younger brother. He has nothing to wear. He was wearing my dad's undershirt. Why I want to say undershirt? Because it was covering his top to bottom. He does not need to wear underwear also. Okay, people used to call him Nanga Sonu because he does not have an underwear to wear because he is a boy, okay. And I'm being a girl, I don't have a dress to wear because it started getting torn away. But I have to really thank BJP, Bal Thackeray ji, Shiv Sena team, and RSS who came and distributed us clothes. I wore those clothes which BJP was distributing those days. Because people sometimes say, oh, we don't know what happened to you Kashmiri Pandits. But I said, no, the people who had to know, they knew. It was BJP, Shiv Sena and RSS who welcomed us with open hearts when we reached Jammu, we reached Geeta Bhavan. As I don't remember who was just now girl saying someone, she said she welcomed the people in their home, but it was the opposite case for me. We had nowhere to go. We went to Geeta Bhavan in Jammu. And I cannot forget to thank local Hindus of Jammu, which are Dogras, who opened their hearts and welcomed us. They said, we are here to support you. I just wanted to add this because it brought me a painful memory about the clothes. I had no clothes to wear, but BJP gave me. I still remember they distributed the clothes, blankets, fans for us. Yeah, continue now. I just wanted to add here. Sorry,
I can translate one thing in this one. And it's very painful. వింటుంటేనే నాకు చాలా బాధగా ఉంది. ఇట్నా ఫీలింగ్ లైక్ యాజ్ ఏ ఉమెన్, యాజ్ ఏ ఒక అమ్మాయి లాగా, ఒక మహిళ లాగా వింటుంటేనే నాకు కళ్ళలో నీళ్ళు వస్తున్నాయి. ఐ డోంట్ నో మీనాక్షి గారు అండ్ మీనాక్షిజీ అండ్ రుచి చెప్తుంటే నాకే బాధగా అనిపిస్తుంది. ఎందుకంటే ఎస్పెషల్లీ ఒక బాయ్ ఈజ్ ఈవెన్ షర్ట్ ఆర్ బనీన్ ఇట్స్ ఫైన్, ఏది వేసుకున్నా పర్వాలేదు. కానీ ఒక అమ్మాయి, అందులో ఒక అమ్మాయి అనేది అంటే ఒక సర్టన్ ఏజ్ వచ్చినాక ఖచ్చితంగా షీ నీడ్ బట్టలు. అంటే బట్టలు లేకపోతే ఐ నో, మీకు తెలిసి ఎంత కష్టంగా ఉంటుందో ఒక అమ్మాయి. అది ఇవాళ రేపు ఎలాంటి బట్టలు వేసుకునేది పరిగెట్టే బట్ట, అది కాదు నేను మాట్లాడేది. మెయిన్ మనకి బట్టలు లేకపోతే ఒక్క జతతోటి. ఇంకొకటి మనకి మీనాక్షి స్టోరీ వింటే 54 ఇళ్ళు, 54 రూమ్స్ నుంచి నథింగ్, అంటే ఎంటీ అనమాట. అంత రిచ్, అంత దగ్గర నుంచి వచ్చి కనీసం బట్టలు కూడా లేకుండా ఇంటింటికి వెళ్ళి భిక్షాటన చేసి ఇంటింటికి వెళ్ళి అడుక్కోవటం అంటే ఇట్స్ నాట్ ఏ ఈజీ. ఇట్ టేక్స్. ఇప్పటికీ వాళ్ళ వాయిస్ లో ఆ బాధ, ఆ పెయిన్, ఆ రోజు అంటే ఇన్ని సంవత్సరాలైనా ఇక్కడ అమెరికాకు వచ్చినా ఇక్కడికి ఉన్నా కూడా చైల్డ్ మెమరీస్, చిన్నప్పటి బాల్య స్మృతులు అనేవి ఎప్పటికీ మన జీవితంలో మధుర స్మృతులుగా నిలబడిపోవాలి. అలాంటి మధుర స్మృతులు వాళ్ళకి మనసుకి నొప్పించే స్మృతుల్లాగా వాళ్ళకి ఒక రకమైనగా మిగిలిపోయాయి. అంటే దానికి కారణం ఏంటి? ఈ రోజు మనం అన్ని అంటున్నాం, ఇది చేశారు, అది చేశారు, కానీ రియల్ గా పెయిన్ అయిన వాళ్ళకే తెలుసు. వాళ్ళ చెప్పుల్లో కాళ్ళు పెడితేనే మనకు తెలుస్తుంది, లేకపోతే మనకు తెలియదు ఏం జరిగిందో. వీ డోంట్ నో వాట్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ ఆన్. వీ కెన్ టాక్ అబౌట్ ఓన్లీ ద మీడియా, yellow media, or any other things we talk about, any other politician we talk about, but we want to know the real fact about the Kashmiri, real fact, real people, the real Pandit. We have to know. అందుకొరకే నేను ఈరోజు షో చేసింది కూడా టుడే వెరీ ఎమోషనల్ అండ్ వెరీ హార్ట్ టచింగ్. మై ఐస్ ఈజ్ లిటరల్లీ వాటరీ. అంటే నాకు అసలు ఏం మాట్లాడాలో అర్థం కావట్లేదు. వాళ్ళు ఒక్కొక్కటి చెప్తుంటే ఒక అమ్మాయి మనసు అది బట్టలు లేకుండా ఉండాలి అని అంటే ఎంత కష్టం. ఇంకోటి మీనాక్షి చెప్తుంటే 54 ఇళ్ల రూమ్ లో నుంచి షీ కేమ్ అవుట్ వితౌట్ ఎంటీ, అంటే నథింగ్. అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఐ నో భగవంతుడు ఏమి ఇవ్వడు, వెళ్ళేటప్పుడు ఏమి ఉండదు, కానీ ఆ సమయంలో 9 నెలల గర్భిణిని చూస్తే హౌ ద పెయిన్ఫుల్. యాజ్ ఎ మదర్, యాజ్ ఎ ఉమెన్, ఐ నో ద పెయిన్ ఆఫ్ మీనాక్షి, యువర్ పెయిన్, అండ్ రుచి హౌ ఇట్ ఈస్ లిటరల్లీ మై ఐస్ ఈస్ మై వాటరీ. But I'm sorry to hear all these things, and I hope that our India is going to come back and our Kashmir is going to be come back. And I'm little emotional. Mahendra ji, can you move on? I'm little emotional, and I can't speak. And it's not
Jayshree, this is Krishna. Can I talk?
Hi, Krishna garu. Hi. Please, matladandi. Please speak out. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is Krishna Gudipati. I'm in the DC area. We organize.
Yeah, I have to say thank you, Krishna garu. Before I introduce the Krishna Gudipati garu, only that reason. I met lots of beautiful Kashmiri ladies and Kashmiri people because that make Cheppan gada Independence Day roju. కృష్ణ గారు లీడ్ తీసుకుని చాలా బస్సులన్నీ వేశారు. లౌడన్ వ్యాలీ ఎక్కడైతే నేను ఉంటానో ఒక బస్ కి రిప్రజెంటేటివ్ గా నేను వెళ్ళాను ఎంబసీకి. అండ్ ఐ హావ్ టు సే థ్యాంక్ యూ కృష్ణ గారు, బికాస్ ఆఫ్ యూ ఐ మెట్ దీస్ ఆల్ ద పీపుల్ అండ్ connected more.
So what I would like to first time when I heard such a story, heart-wrenching story of how the woman faced, Kashmiri woman faced on those dreadful nights. As a man also, I was literally, crying and, really shaken up, basically, of how the situation is. But, at the same time, as one of my guru said, we should never, we may forgive them, but we should never forget. Because some people, they want to forgive, but that's not the case. But we should never forget the stories. So I hope, and Jayshree ji, so I hope we are able to record all the stories.
Yeah, please, yes, sir. Definitely.
Yeah, that's good.
Krishna garu, not only that one, I can ask one more request, and please ఒక రోజు ఒకటి స్పెషల్ గా వర్జీనియాలో ఒక అందరితోటి ఒకటి మీరు ఒక మీటింగ్ ఎలా పెడితే మీట్ అండ్ గ్రీట్ లాగా పెట్టండి. We can meet more.
Yes, in fact, I was going to announce that. So there is on September 14th, Dr. Rajakeeya, who has done extensive research on transgenerational trauma on the Kashmiri Pandits, he's coming to speak, and we want to offer this platform to all those people who faced this trauma and in the DC area, and I will be sending that information through all the groups, and this is exclusively for the Hindus who face transgenerational trauma because of this genocide. Because when I'm hearing all these stories, it sounds exactly like the Holocaust stories, that during the Hitler time it happened. And the funny thing is, these stories are not heard. These are the actual stories are not heard in the media versus the rhetoric, the negative, the incorrect rhetoric that is happening. And of course, Pakistan. Nobody is supporting Pakistan because now they know that Pakistan is all about lies. They hid Bin Laden next to them, and they told the whole world that they are searching for it, and they took the money also. Now no country trusts them. Even Security Council also doesn't trust them. Even Taliban also said, don't mix Kashmir with Afghanistan. Taliban also said, even such bad people also, they said don't mix Kashmir. So internationally, Modi ji is working very hard to get support for the Kashmiris and all. But coming back to the Kashmiris plight and all, we need to keep talking about this. And thanks TORI FM and Jayshree ji and Mahendra ji for giving an opportunity for the Kashmiri people to speak about it. And it is very important. The more we speak, only then we will get heard. Otherwise, nobody will know the facts.
Real facts.
So,
yes.
Yeah, and Jayshree, Sapna here. If I
just want to add one more thing. I would like to see, as a Hindu, I would like to see the Kashmiri Shaivism being come in a full renaissance, because as you know, Kashmir, I'm learning Sanskrit too, and since learning Sanskrit, I have understood Kashmir is basically short form for Kashyapa Mir. Kashyapa means the sage Kashyapa, one of the Sapta Rishis, the 7 sages, and the Mir means the lake area. So it's the land of lake area, created by Kashyapa sage. And also the capital is Srinagar. Sri is the Bijakshara in the Vedas. It's a very, very key sound, and it's Nagar is a Sanskrit word. So the Hindus It belongs to this land, belongs to the Hindus. It's there in the name. It's there everywhere. Some people call them raiders. I would call them terrorists. I call them, genocide people. They are not just simple raiders. So let's call them the right way. And the voice needs to be heard. And I hope to see the Shaivism, Kashmir Shaivism, being in full form, full-fledged again one day in the whole of Kashmir. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Krishna Garu. Thank you so much. And please make sure arrange cheyandi. Please arrange one. No people will all meet one place.
Before that, Jesse, I just want to be clear on our platform. Our political debate platform. Just want to for the other callers' information. So this not actually this is we are not taking any religious kind of the things, but our goal is to make all the exact what happens to the Kashmiri Pandits way back, so that we want to most of the people coming to know what is the 370 and what is the section 144. So other side of the people, what happened to the way back. So we want to make sure the people who are not aware of such kind of issues, it's just to let them know on that one. But it's not any kind of the religious. We're not supporting anything. But the only thing we want to make sure what the exact issues happened to the Kashmiri Pandits way back in that one, and we want to give some platform to show their voice to rest of the world. So other callers are on there. Just callers. Krishnaji, I have a question for the Krishnaji and Rishiji. So, will you think the past governments deal with the Kashmiri issue is wrongly, or it should be the different way if we treated the in early stage of the Kashmiri issue happen? How you think on your stand?
Yeah, see, the way if you see the way. The current government did in terms of it was a simple use of one of the sub articles of the 370 to revoke the 370, okay, and then let the full and because of that the full use of the full laws of India were not applicable there. Like for example, women's rights, child's rights, student rights for scholarships, and then also corruption. The biggest thing was corruption. The corruption laws that were there, that we have in India, were not applicable in Kashmir. So people could do corruption and in Kashmir and get away with it until that time. So they were definitely previous governments were making a big money out of it. Think about this, right? So you have a beautiful land, you can do great corruption and get away with it, and which political leader will not want? So definitely the previous governments are to be blamed, and it was not like it was a big thing too. It was a very, very small thing. They just had to use one of the sub-articles of the 370 to revoke it and get international support. And see, the international support are clearly saying too that it's an internal matter. So what prevented them? It's basically the corruption. They are were able to eat a lot of money and not give them to the public of the Kashmir people. It could be the public of the Kashmir right now, majority is Muslims. So they themselves are not getting the money. And the thing is, they don't know. They are giving this a religious color. But it is purely a high levels of corruption. Already many crores of rupees of corruption cases are coming out now that ED and all, ED and ACB and all can go in and use the authority in Jammu and Kashmir.
Yeah, thank you so much, Krishna Garu. And other people is waiting, Mahendra Garu. We'll talk. We can give a chance. Yeah, please speak. I think lots of callers I saw, but please speak about anybody. Introduce yourself and talk.
Yeah, Sapna once again.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sapna ji.
Yeah, sure. Thank you again. So definitely we also want to talk about and make sure that everybody knows that Kashmiri Pandits are very well educated, sophisticated class. That's how we were able to survive. When we are talking about personal experiences, I think I'm going to take the opportunity to talk about my grandfather. This is something that's not written in history, and what it pains, and it's it's really agonizing when we go out and we start talking about something that Nisha said, that recently there was an event in Washington D.C. where people start asking us for proof. What proof do you have that Kashmiri Pandits were killed? What proof do you have about the atrocities against Kashmiri Pandits? What proof do you have that they were thrown out of their lands? We don't need to give them any proof because it is fact, it is what has actually happened, what we have seen, what we have lived through. So for all those people who are asking people who are agonized, who are pained, and by the mere recollection of what we went through, if you're asking us for proof, please take the highway. We do not need to give you proof. It has happened to us. My grandfather, he was a justice. He was Justice Neelkant Ganju. He was serving the government of India. The reason he was the second prominent prominent person in the valley who was gunned down in broad daylight. What was his fault? What was his mistake? Because he abided by the law and he passed judgment against Maqbool Butt, who was one of the, key persons of the terrorists, and he passed judgment against him. And what happened to him? He was shot in broad daylight. If somebody is going to come and ask me about proof, I'm sorry. You're not worth my time. I don't need to repeat my story. And what we have had really good times back in Kashmir. I really recollect the days when we used to go to Mata Kheer Bhavani on festivals. All family used to get together. I wish we could go back and relive those days. We have had really good times with our families back there as well. But sometimes the pain that we went through personally overwhelms the good times that we had back in the valley. Also, what happened, it all seemed like a plan. Let me finish what I'm saying. My parents were very accomplished doctors. We had our own hospital. What did these Muslims, the terrorists, do? I mean, just from across the border, they started, and the dirty politic games, and Kashmiri Hindus got caught in there. We were forced to sell if our properties were not forcibly occupied by the Muslims in there. We were forced to sell our properties for peanuts. A lot of Kashmiri Pandits, families, parents, elderly, they were like they had nothing in their hand just to make their both ends meet. They sold their properties for peanuts just because they needed some security to survive. And survive how? To make sure that their kids had the best possible education. That is the tenacity of Kashmiri Pandits. We value education, we value culture. But now the younger generation, we are not going to take any nonsense. Our history, we exist on this platform. We have a solid history. We have a great cultural background. Yes, we do exist. Yes, we face atrocities. Yes, we were thrown out of homeland. We exist, and everybody needs to acknowledge that.
Exactly.
We are not we're not going to be that dot on the planet Earth that can be wiped out. No, I'm sorry, no. As you must have heard, we have a lot of vocal people here. And from Jayashree's comment, we have other people who have joined in too. Please speak up and talk about your stories. This is our time. Thank you.
And I want to add one more thing, what Sapna Didi said. It's true that we have been through so many problems, so many hardships, and irrespective of all those problems, we never hesitated to give our life for our country. Where I have an example of my own brother-in-law who was killed in Kargil War, Lieutenant Amit Kaul. He never even hesitated for a second to give life for his country, and he's not the only person. There are so many people. We always took the right path. We always took the correct path, honest path, and we flourished. We really survived all those hardships. So we are really proud of all those people who did great. There are so many stories and so many hardships, but we survived. That's so true.
I just wanted to, this is Jyotsna, I just wanted to mention at this point, our stories seem like success stories, like we are doing well because we have had an educated background, but there is a section of our Kashmiri Hindu people who are still in Jammu in camps, in the Muthi camps. Their stories are still out there, and so we don't have anything to prove. People are still going through, it is still in their lives, it's real. I mean, we might be better off, but they are not. I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah. So Sapna, the proof is very simple. Yeah, Sapnaji, the proof is very simple. Why would anyone leave their 52 room house, such nice houses and property, and leave somewhere else? That's just very, very simple proof.
But unfortunately, that proof does not it does not apply.
Yes.
That rationalogical proof does not apply when you are brainwashed or you're corrupted or you're a fanatic. So I agree with you, but hopefully, we're hoping that the same proof and logic does apply to everybody else as well.
This is Ruchi. I will not take more than 2 minutes to share one more pain point, which I am remembering right now. After we went to Jammu, our parents, one thing I'm really thankful to them, they never discussed all this. They only told us, just study, go on competition. Because being Kashmiri Pandits, we did not even get a reservation. It's not like, okay, you guys are refugees, take a reservation in these colleges or medical colleges or engineering colleges. No, we have to qualify on the general category, competitive test. So that was the goal. At least my mom and dad told me, no matter what happened, I'm going to buy you books and you have to study. That's your goal. And I don't have a room to study. And in Kashmir, the highest temperature goes 28 degrees Celsius. That too with a beautiful breeze, there is no, heat. But in Jammu, it goes up to 48 degrees Celsius, 44, 48. And we Kashmiris are not used to that extreme temperature. Actually, a lot of our grandparents type people passed away after going to Jammu. But coming back to my point, I had no room to study, no fan to have in front of me, and then extreme change, from cool valley to a hot place. Jammu is a very hot place. It's like an Andhra type place. So I used to study under the grape shade of a grape plant. There was a grape plant. I used to study. I used to just go under that, because not only me, all of my generation, we used to only focus on studies. And these sweats used to fall on my body. I still remember, I used to sweat from my head, and the sweating used to fall on my neck, chest, body. And that used to cool me off. I still remember how a body can naturally cool you off when there is no other means. So these are the pain points. And with blessings of Mata Vaishno Devi or Ganpati Baba, we all succeeded in our life. We all have, people who qualified on a general category. We did not take anybody's reservation. We did not have anything. And with that blessings, we all are doing good. But that does not mean we'll forget that pain or we'll forgive those who gave us that pain. I will never forgive these terrorists and never forget that. But I just wanted to share that pain point also, how we studied also. Yeah, go ahead, please, with other things. Sorry to interrupt you.
I think lots of other people is there. I don't know if anybody wants to speak out. Please go ahead and talk and introduce yourself. आपका नाम बोल के शुरू कर सकते हैं. बहुत लोग हैं लाइन में. I think I see that 12 people is there. And please, not only Ruchi and Krishna Garu, Joshna and Swapna Natal, other people is there. You want to share anything about your things, and please go ahead and talk. बात कर सकते हैं. बहुत लोग हैं लाइन में. Please speak.
So, while maybe someone's thinking of a question, this is Nisha. So, I'm going to piggyback off something that Sapna was talking about a little bit earlier. As much as we can hear these stories that you've heard on this, and they are very genuine, authentic, and they are really birthed from true pain of losing their land, as someone who has had discourse with the other side, being Kashmiri Muslims, and hearing how they reiterate...
Somebody, एक minute. Somebody on the radio, please mute that one, because we hear our voice in repeated. Can you mute the radio?
Please mute yourself. If you are not talking, please mute yourself.
नहीं వాళ్ళు రేడియో వింటున్నారు. ప్లీజ్ आप रेडियो सुन रहे, म्यूट करना है ना, क्यों ना we can't hear. Please, I don't know, somebody is listening radio. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so I think what's really important to be pointed is no matter how many stories people hear, our history is continuously challenged by many people. And so I behoove you that when you hear the other side, when they say that it was to the betterment of the government of J&K Jagmohan facilitated the exodus and expedited the exodus of Kashmiri pundits. I've had these same conversations with Kashmiri Muslims multiple times. No matter how many stories there are that exist, the question and the answer to all of this is always, if you ask a Kashmiri pundit, what was the reason you picked up your bags, left your homes, left a land that you were doing so well and you were prospering, and it's so beautiful, what really made you pick up your bags and leave that fateful night? Everybody will say that it was because of the militancy in the valley. No one will ever say it's some Jagmohan theory. It was because the state wanted me to leave, because the state provided me buses to leave, and so I happily hopped on. That is never the story anyone says, and I behoove everybody to reiterate those points when you have these conversations with people, that it is the militancy that drove people out. It wasn't any government funded exodus that drove us out. I'm really sick of hearing the same theory repeated over and over again, and the stories that you've heard on this call being dismissed as this was choice. No one kicked them out. It was their choice to leave. And as you can hear from everybody on this call, it was never a choice. Nobody chooses to leave their ancestral land ever. That's never the case. So I really want to point out what is in the media and what to answer back to that type of rhetoric.
Okay. I think couple of more people is there, and if you want, this is the time to talk. Please go ahead. ఇంకా రేడియో ఎవరో పెట్టారు, ఆ రేడియోలో నా వాయిస్ వస్తుంది. స్టిల్ भी सुन रहे मैं रेडियो में मेरा आवाज आ रहा है. जस्ट म्यूट द रेडियो प्लीज. If you hear the radio, see, this is the thing that different 1 minute. Please mute the radio, please. देखा ना मेरा वॉइस मैं सुन रही हूँ. వాళ్ళు పని చేయట్లేరు ఎవరు. somebody is
So let's take the other side, who are joined on the
వేరే వాళ్ళు చాలా మంది ఉన్నారు, 12 మంది ఉన్నారు. మహేంద్ర గారు people is there, and ఎట్లా వాళ్ళకి పేర్లు తెలియదు, బట్ చాలా మంది ఉన్నారు. మాట్లాడమని చెప్పండి.
మహేష్ ఎవరున్నారు కాల్లో, వాళ్ళని ఎలో చేయము. మీకు నెంబర్ కనిపిస్తున్న నెంబర్ తో చెప్పండి. జేసీ గారు నెంబర్ ఇవ్వండి, ఒక్కొక్కళ్ళకి ఆ నెంబర్ చెప్పండి మాట్లాడటానికి. ఇఫ్ నాట్ దెన్ వీ కెన్ కంటిన్యూ.
మీది 202 మీద ఉన్నది, మీది కాదుగా? మీదేనా 202?
కాదు.
ఓకే. somebody is in 202-427-2223. please, if you want speak about anything. And there is one more number.
That is me, Krishna.
Yeah.
Okay, Krishna garu. Okay, thanks. And other number is 2244094728. You want to say anything, few words? Please go ahead. Please introduce yourself and Okay. And there is a other number. I think lots of people is there. 410-300-660. Because I don't have your names, that's why I mean. Somebody joined 602. Please.
Hello.
Hello.
వినిపిస్తుందండి నేను మాట్లాడుతుంది?
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Vivek, ma'am. I was hearing it's very nice conversation you started. Like most of the times I just follow Twitter and see news. It's like there's a heavy social media activity, where that side of news we never heard that often, like Kashmiri. And I just hear vaguely like, okay, something happened, but the first time I heard from somebody's voice that the pain they went through. It is so nicely. But I just want to ask whoever mentioned it. But probably your voice need to be heard widely across. Otherwise, it gets inundated by so many people trying to make the other side of the voice more heard. I'm not telling that they are wrong or you are right, but there should be an equal platform for you also to raise your voice or tell to most of the people in the nation to know what you went through.
That's why I invited all the people, because that we don't know that yellow media Twitter is not real. That who ever suffer aitara valke telusunda pain. Who will suffer, they know only know. If I have a stomach pain, I know the pain, but rest of the people said make a wear a Tylenol, take Tylenol or ibuprofen. But I only know that what is the pain of my stomach pain, right? The same thing that many people only knows their pain and their problems and their things, and we don't know. We just talk about that. We can just read that we other yellow media and couple of Twitter tweets.
And
that is not true. That is not true. Yeah.
Other idea of this program, Vivekji, actually, when you see the mainstream media, they are right now on the ground of the Kashmir and Jammu and Ladakh and Anantnag. They are giving the people who are living right now, but not the people who sent back from their own land, like the Rishiji and Swapnaji and Joshnaji. So that's another reason we want to give them some platform to happen to long back before, because new generation of the India does not know what happened to the Kashmiri Pandits and what they are existing. So they just know the history. Once upon a time, the people are living here; they are no more there.
Even my son is there. He asked so many questions, and he only followed the media and Twitter and some other things, right? He's our generation kids also doesn't know anything about that. Just they depend on the media. That's we want to know. We want to bring the fact,
Because very recently I read one more article, madam. It's published in some of the popular news, I think Western news. They were portraying like, they were very dominant sect in Kashmir, and they were almost oppressing the Muslims over there. All Muslims are their labor level workers in their homes, and they were constantly abusing them, and kind of an uprising happened. So I don't know the fact. I'm just telling you, I have nothing against them, or you just asking. The other side of the voice should also be heard. I mean, they might be right or wrong. I don't know. And just like whatever you say, I feel it's true. But whatever they say, maybe somebody feels that is truth. Having said that, I just have one question to them, if they're still in that. So how do you see a root cause of these problems? Like where these are lying? I mean, even in US, it's a multicultural country. Like, why there's no uprising like that? People trying to seed away the states, and why specifically you see like people want to separate based on the. Do you see religion has played a role in these things? How can the society progress so that this kind of madness will slowly go away and people will have harmony?
Hello.
Hello.
This is Sapna. I mean, it goes no doubt.
Yeah, go ahead, Sapnaji. That's a Vivek question.
That's a Vivek question, Sapnaji.
Yeah, absolutely. Religion has a major role to play, tied with politics here. All that you hear about is like, have you heard slogans like Kashmir? It's like they chant these slogans on their mosques that's if you cannot embrace Islam, you have no right to live there. I mean, if they are from their own mosques making those announcements, I mean, that this question should not even come up. Is it religion-based? Yes, religion will be tied up with politics.
Now, my question is, I agree what you say, but this is a generic statement for any religion, or you are specifically pointing to one religion?
I mean, it is if you're not a Muslim, if you don't embrace Islam, you have no right to live. That is pretty much their slogan. You're a kafir if you're not a.
Because over the period, if you see, every religion has this kind of aggressions. Even Christianity has by its word, they have killed so many people. Even for just denying the Catholicism, and taking Protestants, they slaughtered people, heavily. And when Pope John Paul have made them as like great saviors of the religion, and on the walls they have painted in Rome. So as an overall, I'm telling, like some period, some religion is having this kind of addiction, but across, do you think that religion itself has this kind of evil nature to rage people against another religion or race?
Hello, hi. This is Ramakrishna. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Actually, thank you, Jaya Garu, for giving the opportunity to present few words on this topic. So, definitely, as Lord Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, I'm a Hindu. Actually, I born in a Hindu family. So, but Krishna said in Gita, you need to respect Christians, you need to respect the Muslims, and you need to respect whatever religion they are following. You should not underestimate any religion. You should not talk nonsense on any religion. So definitely everyone need to understand this basic clear point mentioned by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. So we are human beings. So Krishna created this universe. He is giving rain, he is giving sunshine, he is giving plants, and he is giving air, and he is giving family. What nonsense we are creating by doing all this mess up by like you are Hindu, you are Christian, fighting among ourselves. So there are 84 million species on this earth. So dog will not fight with another dog with like a racism kind of thing, or crown will not fight among themselves. So other species living on this earth are staying very friendly manner. We are human beings with very high intellectual human beings, and we can control any species on this earth. But unfortunately, we are quarreling all nonsense things that is not at all accepted, as Krishna clearly mentioned. Respect everyone, love everyone, take care of everyone. We should not quarrel like this. So, as he always said, we are all belongs to one family, that is Vasudhaiva Kutumbam. You should not quarrel. But unfortunately, some people are misusing this religion concept. So they're for their own benefit purpose, they are creating some parties and they are creating their own agendas. So some uneducated people who failed in 10th class or intermediate, they don't have other jobs. So they use this religion as a their life, what we say, earning point. So definitely, as an intellectual people, we should not go into that
You
mode.
respect the speaker who is speaking right now. This is Meenakshi, talk again. I totally agree with each word that you just said. And you know the Indian history. We have not ever attacked anybody outside us. So our core value says that that's what makes India India, because we welcome everyone. But when it comes to your survival, and that is where we are. Our community, the Kashmiri Pandit community, is almost going to extinct if we don't fight for it now. So it's not.
As correctly, whatever you said is completely agreed.
Can I finish, please? So to add to it, my best friends are Muslims. So they are terrorists? No. I grew up with them. I celebrated Eid with them. Are they terrorists? No. But what happened to us in Srinagar, in Kashmir, we were only targeted. There was not like, maybe some people fled with us just because they had enough money, they could run away and wanted their kids to settle better. But that does not take away what we are sharing here today. It's not about Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, like in a bigger picture. But if you ask me what happened to you, I should have the right to express it with total truth, and I'm not going to mask it like India always does. So I'm not going to mask it. Hey, no, some bad people came to my home. No, I exactly know who those bad people were. So I'm a firm believer in God. So what I'm trying to say here is, I totally agree with you what you said. My core beliefs are that I won't hit anybody or harm anybody with my senses. But if it is for my survival, I have every right to protect myself, and that's what Krishna said as well. So I should fight for my rights. Just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really a great point. Definitely, Krishna also said, don't be silent if some against the principles, against dharma. If anyone acting means you need to definitely protest on that one, and you need to be on the justice side. Definitely, there is a great example from Mahabharatam also. So Kauravas about. Millions of about 6 crore Kaurava Sainyam is there, but at Pandava side, very less soldiers are there, but Dharmam is there with Pandava. So finally, bottom line is Dharmo Rakshita. Whoever protect Dharma. Dharma will protect them. It takes some time to prove this sentence. Definitely, we are seeing thousands and thousands of real examples in our Indian history. I hope all Kashmir people will definitely be in a good hands under our Narendra Modi Prime Minister ruling. I hope they will be very, very happy and prosperous, happy life for all of them. I pray to Lord Krishna to get a more happy life to them. So with this, just I would like to conclude my 2 points on this topic. So thank you, Jaya Garu, for giving opportunity for me to talk few minutes.
Thank you so much అండి. ఏదైనా శ్లోకం చెప్తారా?
Okay then. Bye.
Thank you so much అండి రామకృష్ణ గారు. థ్యాంక్స్ ఫర్ కాలింగ్ అండి.
సో జయశ్రీ గారు ఇంకెవరన్నా లైన్ లో
అదే చెప్తున్నాను నెంబర్స్. 703-395-2858. Anybody wants to talk? No.
That's me. That's Jyotsna.
ఓకే. రమణ గారు ఏమన్నా మాట్లాడతారా? రమణ గారు
చాలా ఉన్నాయండి. అంటే క్వశ్చన్ నాకు తెలుసుకోవాలి కాశ్మీరీ నేటివ్స్ పండిట్స్ తోని. ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ ఐ థింక్ కాశ్మీరీ నెహ్రూ ఫ్యామిలీ ఇస్ ఆల్సో కాశ్మీరీ పండిట్స్ అనుకుంటాను. అది లాస్ట్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ది మొఘల్ ఎంపరర్స్ బ్రాట్ హిమ్ ఫ్రమ్ కాశ్మీర్ టు ఢిల్లీ ఐ బిలీవ్, రైట్? కాశ్మీర్ జమ్మూ కాశ్మీర్ పండిట్ Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru.
I think Ramna, I think they are from the Kashmiri Pandit, Nehru also.
They are Pandits, I think. Yeah. So anyway, one more thing is now that article is 370 has come, I think it should be. I'm sure it should be a blessing. And our Pandits, can they move? I think they can move to Leh also. You have to move, right? To make your life more progressive. We can. Nothing wrong in moving. We also moved to America, so you have a good chance to move there. And second thing, one more. So that's one issue. Second thing is, where does Farooq Abdullah fit in here? Because I think his daughter married that pilot, I think, some Hindu guy. So where does his family fit in all this, in this situation?
Omar Abdullah, not the Farooq Abdullah. Omar Abdullah, his granddaughter. No. His granddaughter.
Okay. No. Omar Abdullah's sister. Her name is Sarah Abdullah, I think. Farooq Abdullah's daughter married Sachin, I think. Sachin pilot. So where does his family fit? Is he, pro-India? Is he going to help it, or is he going to be an obstacle after this?
రమణ గారు, మీరు వాళ్ళని గురించి అడగండి, నాట్ పాలిటిక్స్. సో జస్ట్ టాక్ అబౌట్
No, I'm asking about state, Kashmir state. I wonder. Especially after Article 370.
You can ask Article 370, but not article about other politician. Politics is not here. This is completely about the people, their life. You can ask 370 article, what is your opinion, Swapnaji? What is your opinion, Jyotsnaji? They will not tell that.
This 370 Leh, Ladakh, I think. Now Kashmiri Pandits have Ladakh and Jammu to their control. Now they can move freely. So what will that do to especially Ladakh and Jammu?
This is Sapna. Can I clarify something real quick? Whoever, my regards to the last speaker, but
Ramna Durgam. Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Ramna Durgam. Why are we emphasizing Kashmiri Pandits have rights to why are we regionalizing it again? Have rights to Ladakh and Jammu? Why are we still hung up there? Why are we not saying that India has rights to that?
Actually, honestly speaking, India is not that friendly. For example, these Shiv Sena people don't like South India. So, every state has developed individually.
No,
even Muslim people don't like us, there's that kind of feeling is there. But now Jammu is liberated, I think, truly liberated. I think last 2 weeks when the article has been removed, it is truly independent. Especially, I'm forced to say this, the terrorists are on the hit now. They are on the disadvantage.
And I think when we are starting this dialogue fresh with the abolition of 370 and 35A, I think it's very important for all true Indians, all true Bharatis to chant the same slogan, Mera Bharat Mahan, and say the same thing. We do not generalize all Kashmiri Pandits can go back. I think Kashmiri Pandits, this is what we have felt in the past too. We were left out there by ourselves. We would love to hear that Indians, because we laid our lives, a lot of us have become martyrs fighting for India. So I am so sorry. Maybe I took it a little
what
personally.
I'm saying is,
we do not want to hear
370,
Kashmiri Pandits. It has to be Indians. We are
in
all
no
in
Indian
this
could
together.
go to Jammu also. Forget about Srinagar before this 370. They could not buy property in Jammu.
I totally agree with you, but then you just said that, with the abolition of this, now Kashmiri Pandits can go back. I think I personally would have...
I'm talking about Jammu and Ladakh. They can, they're free now. At least I'm sure these two regions will develop with, of course, Jammu, Kashmir, Pandits, they can, they were also suffering. Actually, area-wise, Srinagar is very small. Before this 370, if you look at the Jammu Kashmir state, area-wise, it got hit a lot because of this 370. Now it's liberated, truly, I'm saying.
See, there is actually a very valid point you just brought up, that we always keep talking about Srinagar, and only about Kashmir. There is also Jammu, there's also Ladakh, and all these people's rights are restored. And it's not just, even in Srinagar, there are like 4 or 5 major areas which are totally in a very bad state because of the terrorists having a big say in those areas. 5 or 6, I think Sopore and Baramulla and others. So what we're trying to say is that now there is, like you said, is through integration. And it's also about now being part of India, all of us. And having learned a lesson, I think, if anything can be learned from this, we were talking about, like how this certain people or certain areas do not like the North, doesn't like the South doesn't like the North. I think this should be a big wake-up call for all of us to understand that we all need to stay united. Kashmir should be a very good, not for just religious purposes, but for as a nation, that we all need to come together to understand what nationhood is about. It's not about hating or dividing. It's about coming together. And as a Kashmiri, I can tell you, and we all have felt that people do not even know last 30 years our story. I have been to so many, get-togethers, and there's like, after 30 years of all this trouble and all these anxieties that we've gone through, and people would say, "Oh, so you're from Kashmir? So where do you live in Kashmir?" And my jaw would drop. People do not, so-called Indians, who we cited, to who we went, and thinking that, okay, you guys understand us. They didn't know about us. So this is a really big wake-up call for all of us to understand, I think.
Agree, Sapraji. Exactly. So Jaya, any others on the call wants to share, or can we continue, because we are reaching out at 2 o'clock, so we have the 15 more minutes.
Yeah, I think some more people is there. I don't know. There is a lot.
Take up. Just call their numbers. If they don't speak, then we can continue on.
Okay. Yeah, if anybody wants to speak, I think +44 3500 6080. హర్ష గారిది కదా అది నెంబరు. హర్ష గారు మీరేనా? I don't know. I did not talk it. Okay. I don't know. Okay. And okay. And Sapnaji, and actually I want to, we talk about all the things and painful things, and we want to know the beautiful memories also, and let me know. And every time I feel like that South India is North India is also included Kashmiri also. मैंने कितना बार सोचता है मंगलसूत्र होता है हम लोगों को, बाकी आप लोगों को सिंदूर होता है. अभी तक I met the Swapna ji, then only I know the Kashmiri people is not the for sindoor. They do the very earrings like that in the neck. Then only it's like symbol of marriage lady. Swapna ji, talk about your culture and talk about your आपका संप्रदाय और संस्कृति के बारे में थोड़ा से बात करते हैं. हम लोग भी वो भी सुनता है.
Sure. Yeah, like Jashuji said that it's not sindoor or a Mangal Sutra or a wedding band. We Kashmiri Pandits have Athor and Dijhor. It has a lot of significance to it. It is something maybe some of you have seen. It's a long dangling chain with a pendant towards the end of it that they wear on in their ears. It's basically, the three-piece. It's a small. It is Dijhor, At, and Athor. It's three pieces. The small Dijhor is an hexagonal piece, a pendant that the bride goes from her parents' house. Moli, the red thread that we wear in Mandir, we call it Nirvan, in that to her in-laws' place where the pendulum, the hanging pendulum, it is added to it along with the gold chain. Basically, you are bringing two families full circle, and everything it can move on it, meaning that we are joining two families together in one culture, and there's a lot of flexibility, and we are going to adjust to each other. So that is what is the true symbol of a married Kashmiri woman. It's not a bindi, it's not a sindoor, it's not a Mangal Sutra. We have very specific traditions when we talk about like a wedding in the family, very family oriented, big on culture and traditions. Our weddings now has come down to maybe 2 or 3 days. My wedding almost lasted a month. It's not just it's the wedding festivities, starting from the first day when the first card is printed and the first card is sent, and the first invitation goes to Ganeshji, the remover of all obstacles and who blesses any new thing that happens. Lot of great memories. It's a beautiful place. Like some of my friends said, you could not dream of it. Like people used to, now I am settled in U.S., but when my cousins or friends used to come from U.S. or anywhere in the world, or even from Delhi or outside India to Kashmir, we had never heard about them coming, oh my God, bimar ho jayenge, they'll get sick, don't give them the water. We used to drink straight from the taps. That is how clean, clear, and pure it was. I mean, just talking about purity was out there in the air. The purity was out there in the culture, in the minds of people, in their thoughts, till some of these miscreants, these fanatics, these Islamizations started taking place and started corrupting the mind of people. For the longest time, like Meenakshi said, some of my best friends were Kashmiri Muslims, and on individual basis they were really good, but when it came to standing up for their religion, that's where fanatism came in. But I have a lot of beautiful memories of Kashmir. The best gardens in the world, the tulip garden, the Mughal gardens, everything's so pretty. The Kheer Bhavani Mandir, Amarnath Yatra we hear about a lot. Mata Vaishnav Devi we hear about a lot. A lot of culture there, a lot of stories, good stories that have got lost, have got diluted in this terrorism that we really need to bring back to the surface, along with the point that we want to make, that our stories need to be heard loud and clear, that we exist and we belong to Kashmir, and Kashmir belongs to India. I have great recollections of even, here my kids sometimes tell me, oh, you had a picnic basket in India? Like they sometimes tease me, you're from Ice Age. I mean, back then we had the best, beautiful wicker baskets with our picnic baskets. We used to go to Mughal gardens and we used to have such great time with family and friends. I remember the school and college picnics with my friends in these Mughal gardens, and they all are like a dream. I wish I could take my kids back there. At least, I know we realistically there's no way I can go back and settle there. But
we'll all go together. We booked one flight and go. Whoever interested to come Kashmir.
Yeah, Swapnaji, before we are closing out, right? I have the two quick
Srinivas garu unnaru anukunta. Srinivas garu unnaru. నమస్కారం అండి శ్రీనివాస్ గారు, మీరు ఏమైనా మాట్లాడతారా?
వెరీ క్విక్ గా అడుగుతాను. I emphasize, like I met couple of Kashmiri friends. They are so peaceful. Sometimes I don't ask any questions. They are living peaceful. Sometimes I didn't ask any serious questions to them because I just don't want to get their memories back and feel sad. So definitely I was listening this program since beginning, was connected. But I have one question though. I forget about the reason how the problem started, but Modi being toughest, he took the decision to remove the 370. Do you feel like any of the prime ministers, starting from 80s, 60s to 80 now, if they would have taken a strong step of removing 370, by this time it would have been better or not? Like, I'm asking if any of the prime minister has taken a decision, whether it is BJP, Janata Party, Vajpayee, or Rajiv Gandhi, or PV Narasimha Rao, if they would have taken 370 out, what would be the things? What do you feel?
Of course. The answer will be yes. Sorry, Sapna Didi. Hijacking it. Sorry.
Okay.
So the answer would be yes. And to say that, it's like if you keep, just giving you an analogy, so if you have a jar filled of only one species, I would say, so they will turn more futile than you have a jar where you have mixed everything. And you can go back to any state where the mixed culture, it is always peaceful. And the problem was that. So they were the majority, and if it was removed back then, the problem, the cancer would not have grown this bad. So we could have curbed it at stage 1.
Okay, so okay, I got my answer. Yeah, they would have done. Yeah. They would have done, because it's a clear black, and for me it's a clear black and white kind of thing. They should have removed 370 long back. Okay, yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
It's clear. It's clear black and white for us, but it's not. People, a lot of corruption and political interest. They don't want it to be black and white. There's so much shaded area here. It should have been done a long time back. We truly, like Deshri, a lot of people at the Independence Day celebration was like, for us, for Kashmiri Pandits, we got our true independence and 370 got removed. We waited a long time for this to happen.
Right. Yeah, so Sapnaji, so before we're closing, I have 2 specific questions for you people. So we know the history and what happened. So we are away from your lands and the decades. So by revoking the 370, how it's going to be affect your lives now, and what is the significant changes in your lifestyle or the families you could see?
So, anybody else wants to speak before I? Okay.
Well,
so, go ahead.
I think we all have a lot to talk about it. We haven't processed it also totally, frankly speaking, because it's like in our minds and hearts, not hearts partially, but in our minds, this Kashmir chapter was closed for us. Now, of course, the memories are with us, but our kids have never been there. They don't even know what we're talking about. They don't know what our stories are. Most of them are fairy tales. My kids went to Kashmir 9 years ago. And when they went there, I still remember when we got off the plane and they heard people talking in Kashmiri everywhere. And my son was like, holy smoke, everybody's talking in Kashmiri. So he couldn't believe it, that people only talked in Kashmiri. So you have to understand where we're coming from. Like Sapna and other people right on the call might not find it a big thing, but for us, our kids, it's a huge thing. So we right now are taking time to process it, honestly, but how it's going to play, what's going to happen, how the things on the ground are going to play, we have to be very careful. We have to tread very softly and gently right now, because you have to understand that they're dealing with real people. If our stories are like that, their stories are also compounded now. We can always say you did it, and they'll say we did it, but the story still remains that we have to gently heal and find some way of peace. I'm sure other people will jump in now, but
okay.
Do we want to go there? Yes, of course.
Okay, great to know. And once again, thank you, Swapnaji and Joshnaji, Meenakshi. When I asked Swapnaji and Joshnaji, and they said immediately, they said yes, and thank you so much. And when you come closing, do you want all the people, whoever in the line, you want to say a few words because that time is running out? And if you, Swapnaji, conclude कर सकते कुछ?
Sure. No, Jayashree ji, I think I'll take the liberty of speaking on behalf of all the Kashmiri pundits here. I immensely and thank you for giving us a platform where we could speak our hearts and our minds out, where we could narrate the stories, the times, good and bad, that we have gone through. We really appreciate all the listeners on the call who did lend their ears and listen to her attentively. I want to say attentively because there were some questions asked, some comments made that makes me believe that everybody was paying attention. Yeah, the point here was not to make everybody emotional, and this is a wound that we have really carried with us for a long time, and we will not let the scars, go in vain. We really want our story told, and we really appreciate the platform, the Global Telugu show. And my request, I'm hoping that I'm not speaking out of turn on behalf of all my fellow Kashmiri pundits, is a request to the media. Please, when you narrate the story of Kashmir, when you are talking about Kashmiri news, please don't taint the pictures. Please don't dilute the pictures. Please talk about Kashmiri pundits also. We exist and we are part and parcel of this Kashmiri, the whole issue, the story, and we need to be talked about. Everybody needs to know about us. Once again, thanks for the time, and we really appreciate it. And we hope that we'll get more opportunities and, to be on, and talk about this. And I'm not sure, Jayashree, maybe I asked you if there will be a recording or
recorded is there. Yeah, definitely. I will share once because it's going to is all recording. Once done, I will send a link to you also. I'll put it in my Facebook. People will, listen. More people also will listen.
Excellent. Definitely. Yeah, I think in Facebook you may have to make it public because we're not able to share them with the public.
I will share link to you. Okay.
Excellent. I'm going to conclude, and I'm just going to see if anybody else wants to add to what I just said. Thanks once again.
Joshnaji, Meenakshi and Meenakshi, if you want to say anything in concluding.
Nothing. Thank you, Sapna Didi. I guess Sapna Didi summarized it very well. So that's it.
Okay. Joshnaji or Meenakshi, both. I think I heard the one voice.
Yeah, I think Sapna said it all. And thank you all again for lending your ears to us. We have a lot of stories to tell. I hope we keep it going. Thank you.
Okay, definitely. Thank you. Thank you each and everyone. ఈ రోజు కాల్లో జాయిన్ అయిన వాళ్ళందరికీ వింటున్న వాళ్ళందరికీ మరొకసారి ప్రత్యేక కృతజ్ఞతలు తెలుపుకుంటూ బట్ ఐ హావ్ టు సే థ్యాంక్స్ టు ద స్వప్న అండ్ మీనాక్షి జీ అండ్ Joshna ji also, and fortunately meet these beautiful ladies in August 15th in embassy. And not only that one, and I have to bring the real fact అంటే రియల్ ఏంటి అనేది అందరికీ తెలియటానికి నేను ఎప్పుడు తెలుగులోనే మాట్లాడతాను, తెలుగు ఆత్మీయ వారిది. కానీ ఈ రోజు అంటే అవతల వాళ్ళ అది పెయిన్, ఇప్పుడు నా కడుపు నొప్పి లేస్తే నాకే తెలుసు ఆ బాధ ఏంటో అనేది, అలాగే అక్కడ ఉన్న ప్రాంతాల్లో ఉన్న వాళ్ళకే తెలుసు కదా ఏం జరుగుతుంది అని చెప్పేసి, అని అందుకొరకే వాళ్ళకి తీసుకొచ్చేసి మీకు ప్రపంచానికి పరిచయం చేయడం జరుగుతుంది. ఏం జరుగుతుంది కాశ్మీర్ కి అవతల వైపులో ఉన్నది ఏంటి అంటే, నాణానికి బొమ్మ బొట్స్ ఎలా ఉంటుంది, ఎంతసేపు ఈ ట్విట్టర్ ఫేస్బుక్ ఇది కాదు, వాట్ ఈస్ ద రియల్ ఫ్యాక్ట్ అనేది, ఆ పెయిన్ అనేది తెలియటం చేయడం కోసం ఈ రోజు మేము ముందుకు నేను వాళ్ళందరినీ తీసుకొచ్చాను. వన్స్ అగైన్ థ్యాంక్ యూ ఈచ్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీ వన్ ఫర్ జాయినింగ్ దిస్ స్పెషల్ షో, కాశ్మీరీ స్పెషల్ షో. అండ్ మళ్ళీ సైనింగ్ ఆఫ్. నెక్స్ట్ మళ్ళీ థర్స్డే రోజు ఎందరో మహానుభావులు అంటూ మేము ముందుకు వస్తాను. అంతవరకు సెలవు, మీ ఆర్జే జయశ్రీ.